Him going down like that does really, really bite, though, because that's an extended death timer. That's a little bit of time that EG have to just play with the map a little bit more.
We're going to get a replay of just how much damage JoJo deals right now. You can see he's 2 levels up onto Babip. He's so bulky here, too. Like, Babip is dealing a lot of damage, but there comes the Sterix. He has so much extra sustain with his Q there, too. The Fury is stacking like mad. Even after getting put to sleep, just a ton of burst from Tony on the flank and contracts here, too. There's the wall. Cody gets taken down. And EG... I don't know what you can do at this point if you're TSM. I mean, your son knows. He's just gonna run over here. I would walk 500 miles. I would walk 500 more.
Too bad he can only get to about 499. Couldn't finish that full 500.
Not the full trek.
Maybe
if he had mobility boots or something.
Yeah, you know, maybe, but he's still taking damage and losing that that little bonus.
That's true.
Yeah, there's some good cardio. Always does people well.
Perfect.
Perfect indeed. You know what's perfect so far is how EG have been handling this game.
Yeah.
They've been doing a great job of controlling this map. They are showing some weaknesses. You do get Haunter over in the backside, able to grab a tower of his own. But that's only tower number 1 for TSM. EG have already grabbed 2, and they're going after this Drake.
It's a Mountain Soul too, so extra durability on these champions that are all very aggressive, really wanting to dive in. It's going to be very valuable for them. Even though they're not really building a lot of resistances, it's not going to stack up nearly as much as it would on a champion like an Ornn or a Scion. Still getting a lot of value, especially if they do get that soul, which is so valuable for a team like Evil Geniuses has comprised here, where they're all things early game. They're wanting to set the tempo of the game really early on. Soul just gives you all the scaling you could possibly want too, so seeing if they can really make that one stick in this game.
So now JoJo headed over towards the top side. We'll be clearing that out. He does have teleport, so he's going to put a lot of pressure over there and pretty much beg TSM to respond. It's going to be a bit of a tug of war, just back and forth, and the idea, eventually catch out TSM in rotation. You're looking to make TSM make the mistake and capitalize on it.
Geniuses are just pushing that line of scrimmage further and further and further, giving TSM much less room to move around and find those plays that we've seen them make. Specifically in Game 1, we're seeing just getting bullied out again.
There we go again, focusing onto Yursan. He will get destroyed. Jojo Pyun will grab that kill. And Evil Geniuses, they make it look easy. There was no sense of urgency to actually get that kill. They just got it, walked away, took the tower. This rift really does feel like theirs, but Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands. It's only a little bit of damage on the contracts. That's all TSM can really do at this state.
But for Evil Geniuses, they've set up the wave in the bottom lane at the same time. They have this Rift Herald. It's going to be yet another turret taken by them. And again, this line of scrimmage, it keeps getting pushed further and further into TSM's base. Eventually, they're just going to be completely choked out of all resources. You're seeing, meanwhile, JoJo is taking all of the top side camps. It's further extending the lead that Contracts has in this jungle. He's up so many camps. I believe that's about like 10 camps in this game over Babip. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is one of the most disheartening things as a jungler, because like those jungle camps are all you got. The lanes need their stuff too. Here comes the teleport. They're gonna go after JoJo. Haunter leading the charge here. Babip and Sword gonna be there for backup as JoJo takes a lot of damage. Will be able to flash away from the paddle star. Out comes the axe, not gonna land. Still more autos going through. JoJo goes in, gets a little bit of help with the Q. Mr. Quest able to show up, gets the headbutt pulverized combo on to Haunter, stuns him. Not underneath the tower though, will not get too much else after that. Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands, and that will be it. TSM dedicates so much to try and find that engage, but they will find nothing. Instead, it's EG finding the momentum on the map, in the mid lane, in the bot lane.
Tony chunks that inhibitor turret down to half HP, even below it with the minion damage. And exactly like you said, JoJo doesn't even die. He survives throughout the entirety of that fight. He still has his ultimate, so he can be a menace in those fights to come. And again, Evil Geniuses are eating all the jungle camps. Tony Top takes away these Krugs, and Babip is still sitting at 100. This is the same number that he was at when I last checked a couple of minutes ago. He has not found anything other than a ward just now.
And there's not much else to really be found on this map for TSM. It's an 8K lead in the pocket of EG, and 8K, sure, it's big, but it's really freaking huge when it's 20 minutes into the game, Smacks. This has been very, very calculated.
It feels like Evil Geniuses could just start up the Baron and just win a fight and the Baron at the same time right now. That's the kind of lead that we're looking at this time, and they've done it just with a really nice and creative use of this split map, right? It all started with Contracts taking away that blue buff.
Ooh,
walling off now, trying to go for a fight.
Walling off TSM, they go for the engage, but flashing into that tight nook there, TSM are going to be able to get away. Evil Geniuses Academy, they're only going for their poke damage, but they can't find too much. TSM should be able to walk away from this one. Yerson and Hanser are going to get caught out on the flank. JoJo is there, and JoJo is wailing away onto Yerson. But Bip tries to show up to provide some emotional support, but he just gets a shock blast in the face. Evil Geniuses Academy, they're going to continue having their way with TSM.
TSM does withstand the onslaught. They do survive. They do get some breath of fresh air, but losing all of those resources, low mana on their Zoe does potentially mean we're gonna have to give up this dragon, which again is the scaling win condition here for Evil Geniuses if they can start to pick that up. Contracts taking the Scuttle Crab just to give them extra movement speed and vision around the dragon that's gonna come. Sword has not recalled. He is still really as this fight continues. Can't poke out nearly as much as you would like a Zoe to be able to do.
There's not as much vision for Evil Geniuses this time, so if they wanted to play, they could go for it. TSM are instead just going to take the front door, going after Mr. Quest, who will go in with the headbutt pulverize. He gets punished right away because the Ragnarok is popped. Solar Flare goes out. It's going to be the support going down first, and the Drake is still up. Shoryu still trying to get some damage in, and it gets stolen away, but Bip will get the Smite War win. Shock Blast goes out. The return damage is still very threatening from Evil Geniuses. TSM, they're happy taking that win. They got the support. They got the Drake. They're going to take that and walk straight back into the lane.
It's a rare misstep for Evil Geniuses. They're super far ahead. They have all these advantages on their side, but give up just a little bit too much. They don't have the same resources that we saw them use in that mid fight. And speaking of the mid fight, they didn't actually find any kills there either. So they lose out on their support. They lose out on the dragon. And they're finding themselves in a position where this advantage is meaning a little bit less than it would otherwise if they were on scaling champions, which means that this dragon being denied away is just such a big deal, because if this gold lead is becoming less and less meaningful and TSM are still finding ways to win fights regardless, then denying those dragons will deny the scaling.
So it's definitely in the mind of Babip, as he was able to get that smite still. But Evil Geniuses, in their mind, is this game is not won just yet. We need to continue pressing that pressure. You can see they're trying to set up something over on the blue side jungle of TSM, but they're not going to find too much here. But Bip is the wiser to it. He's throwing those axes for vision. Shoryu just trying to keep this wave shoved in, but it almost feels like Evil Geniuses are running out of ideas on how to play this mid game. They're not finding their fights that they want. They're not getting the objectives they want. They're getting stolen at this point, and even losing out on some of these fights. They're starting to slip, Smacks.
Do a slight standstill. Still need to... Oh, here, this could be it.
Oh, this could be it indeed. But Bip runs low, but he runs out nonetheless with the Ragnarok. So Evil Geniuses will not get the kill, but that is a jungler critically low. That is Baron being called by Evil Geniuses.
Bip has to recall. This could be the main objective that lets Evil Geniuses snowball their victory in this game. This could be the moment where they can win the game.
Evil Geniuses, the Baron's getting lower and lower. Sleepy Trouble Bubble did go out, get the slow, the sleep onto Tony Top. And with 1k health remaining, Baron will go to Evil Geniuses. Solar Flare goes out. It's onto JoJo. JoJo with the third of health remains. Mystic Quest has to immediately start backing off because Babip has his number. Seismic Shove goes out. JoJo dives deep. He will be resurrected and be able to rejoin this fight as EGA are trying very carefully to win this, but they are starting to fall to the poke, to the crowd control, to the fight of TSM as Cody's son grabs another onto Contracts. Nonetheless, it is Baron going to EGA, but they lost so much in that last fight.
I say oh no because Contracts had his flash, but he thought that he could dodge the bubble from Sword. Not quite so lucky. Evil Geniuses do lose out in a couple of those kills, but they did get the Baron. As we see in this replay, Babip is nowhere to be found. They had just chunked him out. He is arriving to this play late, and Sword, while he's able to chunk out the members really hard, does not get the Baron stolen away. Both supports fall, so we do get to see that one happening, but we also see that Babip gets thrown away from the team rather than into it. So Evil Geniuses, they can't find that kill either. And we're about to see this tragic.
Oh, it breaks your heart, Smacks.
It definitely does. Contracts could have flashed it, but did not think that he would get hit by it.
Now roaming the jungle, looking for Babip. No wards to go out. EGA, they're still in a pretty good spot. This is still prime positioning for them, but TSM, they're finding their way back in this very slowly, very carefully. They don't have the gold where they would like it, but Cody's son's been farming up. He's been a madman. He's been trying to do his part, and he's been doing it
Evil Geniuses can notify themselves of that and can start taking down these turrets and trade with what Haunser is doing. There's a wall.
She just have their way with it. It is another tower going down, but this time on the inhibitor. Going straight after the inhibitor, Yerson looking for the engage, and so is Haunser, but he's only got half a bar left before he does go into that Meganar form. That's getting smaller and smaller by the moment, so TSM might go for an engage here. They want to defend this inhibitor so badly. EGA, they don't want to be here for nothing. They see that slither of health, but the cannon creep will go down. TSMA, they are putting up a decent defense here. Now here comes another wave of minions with another cannon creep. But you're seeing the poke, the shock blast go through. But Bib takes a bit of damage, so does Yerson. Mystic Quest is taking a lot of damage as well. And the battle lines, they're just throwing left and right between them. But here comes Yerson looking for the engage. Solar Flare is going to go out. Yerson will be the first one to fall in this fight. But Bip on the retreat with the Ragnarok. It's one member down for TSMA. Sword over the wall, will not find the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Haunser still getting a lot of that chip damage with the Boomerang. But Inhibitor does finally fall. EGA are finally able to grab what they came for.
It's the power of Cleanse right there. Shoryu able to use that one and survive the onslaught of crowd control from Yerson. He did get hit by a nice bubble, and we're seeing the strength of Sword. Even though he's down very heavily in CS, all it takes is one bubble to really scare the members of Evil Geniuses, and here's where it does land. Throws it onto Shoryu here, and this signals the start of the play for Yerson. I really like that he has the awareness to do this, but he's just barely short of that play onto Shoryu. Do find that it would be very difficult for him to actually continue that, because Shoryu did still have ult and flash, so might have died regardless, but you can see TSM are still trying to find their avenues of success, and they're going to need to, because Evil Geniuses did take their inhibitor alongside that dragon. They're at Soul Point now.
Yeah, Soul Point. During that whole replay, Mountain Drake was picked up, so one more Drake to get to that point for EGA. Over the wall, Sword will find that sleep once again. Weaver's wall used by Contracts. Here comes JoJo. He's going straight after Sword. The headbutt pulverize comes in, and Sword falls. Tony Top gets the kill, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. Running away once again will be Babip. Jojo getting closer and closer, looks for Hanser, dashes forward, tries to find a slice and dice as Tony Top going to the hammer form. There it is, finds the stun. Hanser is getting caught out. Here is the flank. Jojo goes deeper. He's getting higher and higher on that bar, and he smells blood in the water. Goes after Cody-san. Cody-san using the killer instinct, but there is Shoryu to shut him down. And with only Hanser, with only Babip to defend the base, this is looking better and better by the moment by Evil Geniuses Academy.
There are no minions here, so they cannot end the game quite yet. But Evil Geniuses find 3 incredible kills for themselves. The damage from Tony Top is gigantic. And now the Baron's going to be up in 45 seconds. Hanser,
oh
no!
My God, Tony Top! Hanser, wrong fight to pick. Tony had your number.
Hanser has a ton of armor. He has Ninja Tab, or plated steel caps, excuse me. He has the Dead Man's Plate, but it's still not enough. The armor penetration of the Eclipse and the Serelda's Grudge is gigantic, and Tony Top makes such quick work of him. I'm so surprised right now. Hanser is the tank. You can't do that to him, Tony.
You can't do that to him, Tony. Just outright destroyed the poor lad. Now sitting on the respawn as Evil Geniuses Academy, as they keep finding these small advantages, it's leading them to the point where they're almost at the 10k lead. And with still a couple seconds left on Hanser's respawn timer and no teleport, this should be Evil Geniuses Academy's Baron.
There's absolutely no way the TSM can get this one. They don't have Jinx. I checked. Trust me. There it is. Picked up by Tony Top. Again, it was 5-0-5 on the Jace. Making this pick work so well, not to mention Jojo 604 on the Renekton. These AD laners paired up with Contrax's Talia are the reason why we got so excited to see this champion in the draft here for Evil Geniuses Academy. They are making it work. They are proving us right that we should get excited for these players. We should get excited for these picks, and we should expect the Evil Geniuses get to match point in this series against TSM Academy.
Here comes Weaver's Wall coming in again to stop the defense that TSM want to do onto this tower. But look at Jojo in the mid lane. Meanwhile, here comes Solar Filler going to come out. They're going straight after Contracts. Contracts will be able to get away, though. No, Babip catches them with an axe, but it's 2 going down. Evil Genius is able to find those kills. Push back in is Jojo, but Jojo wants Hanser, and so does the rest of the Evil Geniuses. It's going to be a double kill. Jojo flashes forward. Can't quite take down Sword, but instead, he's going to take down the base, and so is the rest of EGA as they march down in game number 3, making this a 2-1 in favor of Evil Geniuses Academy.
That's going to do it there, Deserux. Evil Geniuses making a huge comeback in this series. They lose game 1 so spectacularly. TSM really popping off, especially Babip on the Hecarim. But this game 2, this game 3 have been all things EG. I love this composition for them so much. I love Talia. It makes my heart so warm.
Oh, I got so excited seeing the Talia. But what I wasn't thinking about was, like, once you put the rocks on the ground, there's so many members of TSM who just can't really get in without getting punished by that. I forget what the name of the move is. You'll update me on that one. But it was hard. It was very hard for TSM, and Contracts just had their number starting off with that Talia. He didn't let down the momentum, and especially with Jojo and Tony, the leads Contracts was able to transfer into those lanes made them shine so much more as players.
Like I said, this is why we get excited for comps like this for Evil Geniuses. The AD threat of the top side and the mid lane here for Jojo and Tony is the reason why we get so thrilled to see them on red side. They have all these different draft pieces that they can put together and make these huge cohesive moments for them. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Shoryu after that game, because he was put on the back end so hard. He was bullied out so tremendously hard. He still was able to do so much in those team fights. He still was able to perform on the Xayah, even playing weak side. I think that's very admirable of him to do.
He put up with it. He put up with it, and he came back. That was the main thing right there. But I want to focus on the top side. Tony Top versus Hanser. It's been a while since I've seen Hanser get dumpstered like that, but that's the presence Contracts had on the map. It allowed Tony Top to just keep pressing his advantage, not even worrying about what Babip would bring.
We saw that Tony Top was able to take down the entire turret with no jungle help, no Rift Herald, just in his isolated matchup. We even saw Sword make his way up there to try to stop it from happening, but Tony Top is inevitable in that top lane. He will take down that entire turret, and he will, like you said, completely dunk on Haunter on his Gnar, champion that he's performed so well on in this entire tournament. He just picked that Gnar, and still it's not enough to stop Tony Top up there.
So we're at game point now. Evil Genius is just one win away from making it into the top 4. Will they be able to do it? We'll throw it over a short break. Analyst Desk will break down game number 3 of this series between Evil Genius's Academy versus Team Solo Mid Academy. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to the desk, everybody. Ravish joined by Tim and Smacks here yet again. Ladies and gentlemen, EG are generally doing it after a rough first game loss. These next two games have been a genuine statement. And I think they've done it here, Tim. EG are finding the space in the plot armor for TSM. The losers bracket run are looking as hot. And as of right now, it's time to move on to the next arc maybe in the anime.
Yeah, it was. I think EGA definitely dominated this game pretty much start to finish. Taking this bear in here that we're seeing right now, TSM did find some opportunities in the mid game to win some team fights. This was a 2-for-1, I believe. There were other moments where TSM won a dragon fight from like a 7,000 gold deficit. Like TSM found a couple of 5v5s, but it really was EG's game all the way through. They managed to close out with a lot of pressure all around the map with this Renekton and Jace pick that can play the side lanes. And all of this really started at the very beginning of the game where Contracts, started his path on the top side. They picked Jace for Tony Top, this bully matchup. He would shove all the way in. Contracts even bullied Hanser all the way in between turrets, forced him to take a really terrible reset and lose a bunch of CS. And I think EGA going at Hanser, that is a way that TSM have found some wins this year, is Hanser just getting a top diff, right? Like winning his own lane 1v1, getting this huge advantage and turning that into other things and being a really big team fighter. But EGA did not allow that to happen here. And I think we're getting to the point of the tournament here where maybe not every single top laner can hold up to Hanser 1v1, but Tony Top can, especially with a matchup like this and with all the help Contracts did. This isn't the game that shows that Tony Top 1v1, outplayed Hanser, because Contracts did all this for him. But it was a game where I think Hanser not being able to create that difference and getting attacked so hard gave EG so many tools to play out the rest of the game.
It absolutely did. And the Jace counter pick is one of the reasons why I get so excited for Evil Geniuses Academy being on red side, because this Jace pick can be so effective into that blind Gnar. And people are blinding Gnar left and right. Let's be honest, this is probably one of the most blind pick champions in this entire tournament. So the fact that is being punished by Evil Geniuses Academy with this Jace is so huge for them. It does mean that they are just as threatening on red side as they are on blue, which is such a big deal, especially when you have this Jace pick, which is a lane bully. It scales really well too with the new itemization. The Serelda's Grudge is such a brutal item for this champion. So I really like this pick here from Tony Top. This is why I am such a fan of the way that they draft on red side, because they can activate their players a lot better than other teams can, it seems like.
Yeah, and to stack on that, like EG actually picked the Renekton as a response to the Gnar, sort of, right? Like you could have kept the Renekton top and responded to the Gnar with that, but then later they see the Zoe and they go, we can put the Renekton into the Zoe, we're comfortable with that, we can get an even more specific counter pick. And being able to do this with JoJo, and he's played the Renekton before, like him having that flexibility in his champion pool and being able to do flex picks like that is another really big advantage they have in their solo lanes, especially.
And we saw it too, right? Because just the way that EG was able to consistently attack Hanser over and over again. See, because BG was not a factor in that game. Pentakill no longer, unfortunately, right? Because although it looked cool, because that Jace pick really showed up, especially in those team fights. He was able to put out just so much damage, forcing some of the spells on the side of TSM. And you saw how past that, Babip tried to do his best to be able to split the map across the board and really try to funnel resources into Cody's Sun on the bottom side. But it unfortunately just could not come to fruition, because Smacks Drew mentioned JoJo Pure here too, just how far he got on this Renekton, man. Is there no chance this man cannot play? We said it. We really highlighted at the beginning. He has been a force to deal with in this EG roster. Like, his hands are absolutely out of his world. And honestly, Smacks, I would chuck jug with him any day, considering and that's how he keeps playing. But if we are looking at EG right now here, Smacks, do you think they take us home, or does TSM come back from this? Because 4-1 bot diving is not working for them.
It's certainly feeling like Evil Geniuses have found the secret code to winning this series against TSM. They've just delivered us 2 incredible victories back-to-back, playing very different styles, most notably with Contracts. First game they won was Mundo. Second game was Talia. Those champions could not be further apart. So it definitely feels like Evil Geniuses have found their stride. And for TSM, they really need to find some way to counteract the secret code with a secret code of their own or something along those lines. They need to bump up the tempo a little bit on their side too, because like you mentioned, Ravish, they can't keep going for these bot side dives when Evil Genius's entire strategy revolves around top. Contracts split the map with his first buff that he took. He immediately started on the enemy blue, kept that huge wave ready and able for Tony Top to just push in and deny all this gold from Haunser on his Gnar. So I really want to see TSM do something to counteract that specifically and really unlock Haunser to be that veteran voice on their team and be that huge team fighter for this squad.
That's definitely the biggest thing, right? Because although Contract's not being seen out in Italy this time, we've seen his outplays that he can make, but he has been a menace in enabling his team as much as he can. Now, Tim, on your end, bro, you know, although we did have that EG predictions, right, outside of TSM, we're talking a lot about them adapting and evolving, as all teams need to do in this best of 5. And although you changed it to a 3-2 by the other for the side of TSM, right, considering where they're at right now, right, going off of Smax's point, what more can TSM do to possibly catch EGA off guard, do you think?
Yeah, I think going back to the Zoe is fine. I'm okay with them doing that for Sword. You know, getting the Gnar for Haunser, I think that's fine. I think the way they drafted was okay. Given that, I think a pretty important factor is your son is not being able to play Rel or Alistar. And the fact that he's not being given that opportunity, I mean, he's trying to find some other kind of tanky initiator, and so he went for something there. I think they need to find some better fit. I'm not sure how deep they can go with that. I think your son is a good enough player to play some other champions, but I think EGA have been looking at him and saying, you know, your son, no, this is my son now. I'm picking the Alistar. I'm banning the Rel. You know, we're gonna take that away from you. So your son has to find another gear to switch into. I think he's been playing okay, but the team needs another level from him. And let's see if he can bring it out.
It definitely does genuinely need to happen. Right now, I know I predicted before some sort of crazy, wacky, kooky pick that could possibly make things a little bit better. Now, I predicted the Pantheon, although it didn't come to fruition, but still, a stun bar came out. Now, I'm not going to make any sort of outlandish predictions as of right now. I'm just hoping to see some clean gameplay from both of these sides here, Smacks. I mean, you may laugh, right? But I'll leave you with this. I think, as right now with the TSM, with the way they're going, just some draft permutations need to be made to allow them to enable more points across the map if they want to take this to a full Game 5 series. If not, then EGA look primed and ready to take us home a little bit earlier. And with that being said, we'll pass it off to you and Desrux in the casting booth to see the possible final game of the night. Yes, I believe. Oh, actually, I'm just getting word that I believe draft is not quite ready, just as of yet. So this is where I get my moment to say what could possibly happen. All right, so this is. I was waiting for this. I was thinking, man, I'm gonna run out of time, not gonna be able to say anything. All right, friends, here's what comes out. And look, although they're not on the patches yet, let me just hear me out and say I think Euro comes out here next. I know you all don't like the champion. I think decent bring out a split push strategy where they try to go for a 4-1. Don't go for bot side dives. Go for just complete lane dominance, and that's what I want to see. Thank you, Tim, for the aptitude response for that, as I believe draft is ready right now, friends. So we'll take us into EGA versus TSM game number 4.
Welcome back, everyone. Desrux here. Smax, thank you for rejoining me. Game number 4, we have a series. It's been incredibly competitive so far, but EG are looking to close this out, Smax.
And they are definitely doing that with their momentum that they've shown us in games 2 and 3, and looks like they're going to be implementing the exact same draft strategy so far of pinching both the jungle pool and the support pool. We'll see if TSM Academy actually buy into this again. I was really looking forward to seeing if they would first pick the Alistar or the Rel. With that Gnar ban, tells me that they actually are doing that.
Yeah, Rel's still available. You got the jungle bans coming out once again from EGA. Real's still focusing on that Hecarim and Udyr combo. 9 seconds left on it. They're going to ban away the Croc this time. Not going to allow that to be first picked, but TSMA, they've been changing up their draft quite a bit as they've developed through this tournament. Usually they tend to just hot pick the Kai'Sa right here or hot pick their jungler right here. They are happy going with the Rel, though, and it's definitely the right call to make. Rel is way too powerful to engage support. Yersan does so well with it on top of that.
I think you mean he does so Rel with it, actually, Deserex.
Do you know I had a video done of this before? I said, like, really well with Rel, and then Joshi wooed me, and now that's on YouTube.
Yeah. I remember that. That's pretty good. That's a good clip. But yeah, the Rel does get locked in first, but I really like what Evil Geniuses Academy did with this Renekton ban because it leaves up both Rel and Alistar. So now Mystiques gets to respond to this Rel with the Alistar of his own. Now, it does give Yersan that possibility to pop off. We've seen how good his Rel is over the course of so many games, just this tournament alone. But Alistar is a very serviceable response to it. You can knock her out of her engaged threat. The dash is pretty slow, so if you just headbutt her on out of it, then you can deny a lot of that. And Mystiques has already shown us 2 victories on this champion, so keeping up that momentum with the Minotaur is looking really solid for the Evil Geniuses.
It's honestly surprising to me, too, because this is a lot of supports that was left up. It was really just Evil Geniuses saying, like, we want to get something strong. If it's not Alistair, it's Thresh, give us one of those. But a solid response come out of TSM as well as they go straight for the Tristana. We've been seeing Cody-san on so much Kai'Sa, on so much Xayah. He can do great things on the Tristana as well. It does enable him a lot when it comes to just putting forward momentum alongside Yersan as Olaf gets locked in.
Yeah, but I'm still feeling confident on that Olaf here, but the Tristana is a really big deal because it does mean we're not getting the same Kai'Sa-Xayah lane. Might still mean that Shoryu wants to block in Xayah all the same. They have just won 3 games on Xayah Alistar bot lane, so I would not blame them if they want to continue that trend. Kai'Sa's available. Teemo's available. That's just a hover. That's just a hover. He's not. There's that Kai'Sa.
It's going to be Kai'Sa locked in. I don't think that's to anyone's surprise. Mostly the Xayahs have been picked up as like the response to, if I can't grab Kai'Sa, I'm going to grab Xayah. So yeah, that gets locked in. We have pretty much the bottom lanes decided here, which is going to bring it down to the solo lanes now. We do have that counter pick priority coming out of EG.
For Evil Geniuses, they have to decide whether or not they think that this Tristana is going mid or bot lane. I've seen Cody-san have a lot of success with it, so that's sort of the default. But if Evil Geniuses decide that it is 100% going bot lane, then that might lead to them getting surprised a little bit, and Cody-san could go for the Xayah. So I have to think about that one. Maybe deciding to ban the Xayah on their own terms in this game. So we'll see if they actually decide to do that. So far, they're just taking away some top laners. This is the first game where Haunser hasn't locked in his top lane right away in that Gnar.
And I'm hoping we get some powerful picks coming out of TSM, something that has some presence in the lane, because I was unimpressed with Babip's Olaf, but it was just because he didn't really have any control. In the top lane, Tony Top dominated that lane. Jojo dominated the mid lane. I want to see what's going to happen if Babip does get opened up with this Olaf.
We'll have to find out, as Sword is still looking for what his mid laner is going to be. He might have to blind pick it, depending on what Evil Geniuses Academy want to do with the remainder of this draft. They do have the Volibear flex opportunity, so they have some different things that they can do with the way that this draft is continuing, and because of that, the Jax and the Silas are taken off the board. TSM addresses that Tony Top and Jojo Pune have looked so good on these champions, and especially effective on them as counter picks. So I really like that those are being attacked away. And for Evil Geniuses Academy, they lock in that ever so safe blind pick Orianna mid.
It's a control mage. It's not the Jojo special, but it's still a fun champion. Jojo's already played it earlier in the series, and he had success with it, so I do like seeing it go through, and I like that they're saving the counter pick for Tony Top to see if you can get echoes of what we just saw in the last game. Now, TSM are hovering the Nocturne. That's going to be a lane Nocturne not locked in now. And you know what? I like it. I like it much more than you would if you're a jungle Nocturne. We've seen TSM try the jungle Nocturne, and it didn't work out whatsoever. But when you have it in combination with the Galio that just got locked in, it is going to be hell to pay if your name is Jojo or Shoryu.
TSM Academy going right back to what they had success with at game number 1. Full dive. No other way to play this game out. Nocturne quite literally can't do anything else with his ultimate. He either presses it and does nothing, or he dashes onto an enemy champion. So that one being locked in for Hanser signifies that the rest of TSM Academy is looking to do the exact same thing. And with Sword back on Galio, I feel like this is a much safer draft, especially considering the success that they had in Game 1. But will be responded to with this Wukong. And if you watched Hanser's performance on this champion yesterday, you know just how devastating this champion can be.
Yeah, but that's going to be going over to Tony Top now. So Tony Top is the one with the hands on that Wukong. And if you look at the composition as a whole for Evil Geniuses Academy, there is some mad wombo combo just waiting to go off, Smacks.
They've got some dive threat of their own here, Deserix. They can really make that one work for them too. So this is going to be that kind of game, man. We're going to get a lot of action, a lot of team fights, lots of blood. I'm looking forward to this one.
I think it's going to be a bloody game. You look at the go buttons on Evil Genius Academy, you look at the go buttons on TSM Academy, and there's no real way out. You're just going in to fight, and you're not going in to find the escape. You're not doing any, cheesy, hey, I'm Ezreal, I can arcane shift to be aggressive and defensive. No, this is full go button. This is bound to be a bloody game.
Ooh. I cannot wait for this one. Evil Geniuses Academy have looked super clean with their top-focused gameplay in this one, and while they aren't nearly as aggressive earlier on, once everyone hits their level 6 strides in this game, and we're going to get a lot of fighting. And I think especially it's important for TSM Academy that they have this Nocturne on their team, because Nocturne can really shut down a lot of what Evil Geniuses want to do. You can't teleport during the duration. It is shockingly difficult to use your Kaisa Killer Instinct while the Nocturne ultimate is available too, because the vision is so limited on that champion. You can't dash fully. So I really like that this pick is coming in as a response to that.
I mean, if you're the first one pulling the trigger with this Nocturne, you also deny the teleports as well. That's actually really, really strong tool. So we'll see if Hanser can use it just like that. He is going against Tony Top on the Wukong, which does give me worries for Babip, because he's not going to get like that top lane priority. He's not going to get too much power going for him in the early game. So hopefully he doesn't fall behind once again. Hopefully he's able to find like more success towards the bot side of the map, but we'll have to see. We are on the Rift. It is now match point. Evil Geniuses Academy, if they win this, they head over to the top 4, send TSM home. TSM would love to make this a 5-game series.
This is a good time to remind everyone of the changes in Proving Grounds compared to Academy, because in previous years, Academy playoffs would be top 6 only. And if you remember back to the Academy regular season, neither of these teams ended top 6. TSM ended 7th and EG ended 10th out of 10. So the development that these two teams have gone through over the course of this tournament and previous ones at that, it's been so fun to watch, and it's all really culminating right now. Evil Geniuses are just one Nexus away from making it all the way to that top 4.
And you know what, Smacks? Even though Evil Geniuses had like a terrible Academy split, there was still signs of life left in them. JoJo was developing as a player. The teams they beat, Immortals, a 5th place squad, 100 Thieves, a 3rd place squad, it's nothing to scoff at. They had the signs of life. It was just about development. And you're seeing this now. This team is developing so well. JoJo, of course, we've talked so much about him. Contracts even hypes him up. Misty Quest is, of course, a journeyman in the scene. He's been all over the EU Masters scene, from Ultraliga, Superliga, EU Masters. This team is developing well. I really like with the way they shaped up.
I like it as well. Got some good names from last year's Scouting Ground Circuit too, but Tony Top being one of them. Can he find the kill into Hanser? That's a really big trade.
That's the tough thing about that Nocturne. Once you do blow all your skills, if you don't land that Q, like, you shouldn't be taking that fight in the first place.
Lots of sustain though with the passive, the Umbral Blades. If you can access the minion wave, then you get just so much healing, and you don't have to spend any mana on that either. So that, alongside the Biscuits and the Corrupting Pot, should help him stay alive in this lane. But Tony's already showing why he did pick this champion as a counter to Nocturne. He can take those sustained trades, and it's exactly what Wukong likes to do now.
Here comes the focus on the Hanser once again over in this top side. The lane has been pushed. Tony Top going to go set up for the dive. The damage is going through. One more auto will do it, and that will be first blood going over to Evil Geniuses Academy.
Man, that was clean. Contracts, he uses his W to deny the spell shield there. He juggles the turret aggro. He gets his shield from his E. That was picture perfect from Evil Genius's Academy. Tony Top even gets to stay in that lane. He doesn't take any damage during the entirety of it, and he gets the kill. That could not have gone better.
And that was the tough thing we were talking about. When you do take that Nocturne over towards the top side, it was counterpicked. You know, the Wukong was grabbed, and very, very quickly, Contract's response to that heads over there and starts punishing Hanser. Hanser will have to burn his teleport early, but it will be matched. Teleport for teleport. Nothing too much lost, but it is still gold. It's still income that's amounting up to Tony Top.
The wave is pushing into him, too, so he's got some time to decide what he wants to do with it, but with the wave pushing in, it does give Babip a window over here to potentially lay down some axes, some undertows. Makes himself known, though, as he drops that ward, and unfortunately it is spotted by Evil Genius's Academy. And it might mean that Hanser gets to proxy this top wave? Okay.
It's interesting that they're going for the proxy. They know that Contracts was over towards the top side, so he had to start on the red buff. So his camps are spawning towards the bot lane. So he has a lot of safety in doing this. It's just a little bit surprising to see it, isn't it, Max?
Yeah, it absolutely is. Hanser, you know, he is playing this Nocturne. This is a traditional jungle champion, and thus he can very easily take away some of these Raptors, but it's spotted out.
Here we go. JoJo shows up. Hanser, wrong neighborhood, buddy. JoJo grabs that kill 2-0 early for EGA.
Yeah, this is pretty ambitious from Hanser to try to take away the camp. I was saying that he can do it, but should he do it? The answer is no. So he does find himself dead for a second time. No teleport available either, and the wave is pushing against him, so he's going to miss out on a lot up in this top lane, feeling like a repeat of the previous one.
Yeah, the proxy was enough. Taking the camp was a little bit too extra. EG were well aware that Hanser would be in that side of the jungle.
Yeah. Oh, Hanser. He made his intentions very, very clear. A little too clear there as Contracts picks up that one and gives it over to JoJo as well, who has a gigantic CS lead in that mid lane. Oh no.
Seen this one before. Contracts headed over towards the top side. Response coming out of Hanser. Your son will be able to roam up and be sure to defend his top laner, but here comes the hero's entrance, flashed out of Tony Top, as well as Contracts able to get out of that engage.
Them using some movement to get out will survive, and they will buy the time of Yurson and Sword there, who again is so far down in this mid lane. JoJo is up 20 CS, and this is going to become a huge win condition yet again in the mid lane here for Evil Genius's Academy. Not to mention, Shoryu gets to take a sigh of relief. The support is not there. He actually gets to maybe get a CS lead for the first time in this series. It's shocking. It's not because Shoryu's playing it bad either. It's just that the game for Evil Geniuses has not revolved around him.
I do like some of Babip's awareness right there. Knowing that the play just happened, I guess there was like the instinct that they might dive bot lane now that Cody Sun's all by himself. So Babip just waited in the wings to spot out if that would happen. It does keep Cody Sun alive. It ultimately, there was no dive, so it was kind of for nothing. But that level of safety, that level of thinking ahead is something you do want out of your jungler, just trying to be aware of where the plays might be happening.
It's defensive awareness there for Babip, and that is really good, but the problem is that it is just that, defensive. We're not finding any early advantages at all for TSM. Of course, they did get that dragon early on. They did get that just about on spawn there for TSM Academy, but ever since then, they've just been forced onto the back foot. Sword is playing this utility-based mid laner yet again in the Galio, and Hanser on the Nocturne has been bullied out so tremendously hard by Tony Top and by Contracts as well, who has 100% kill participation in this game. Seems to be a trend for this player.
Hanser's trying to get some power back into him. He was able to clear these waves and get his CS, relatively close to Tony Top. That's still a full wave right there waiting for Tony to just grab. So he will still be behind in the long run.
That he will. And it's going to mean a lot when Tony Top first purchases his item. It's looking like that's going to be a Trinity Force, which has recently been buffed, so the item feels really good on these bruisers. The Mythic passive doesn't feel as good, but the stats just favor that playstyle a little bit more, so I think they're going for that. There is also still the fun possibility that it's Essence Reaver, so he goes crit I don't want to leave that one out. It's pretty fun.
Like you just call it fun.
I mean, Korean Wukong is a little cheesy, but you know, it gets the job done.
Wukong's a blast.
Yeah.
I like it. I can dig it. And also dig this play from Contracts. Seeing the movement coming out of TSM, he realizes that, you know, Babip's going to be on the bot side of the jungle. This is clear, free, and easy for Evil Geniuses Academy to pick up. And, you know, it's going to be more gold. It's going to be more of a lead. I'm imagining they would want to place it top lane and continue to put Hanser down. If you don't, you can even put it in the bot lane. JoJo does wonders when he does have a gold lead. So, lots on the map going over to EGA.
Again, Babip still sort of waiting for him to make a standout play on this Olaf. We're about to hit 10 minutes in, and it's about the time where you'd expect Olaf to really be devastating. This Ragnarok ultimate and just rampaging forward onto these rather immobile champions here for Evil Geniuses. JoJo has the extra zone threat of his ball, but you actually do stem the gap there, then can get on top of the Clockwork Mistress and knock her down.
This Tony Top just going in to have some monkey business playing around with Hanser up there. Still expecting both of these top laners to be able to show up to this next dragon fight. Ocean Drake will be spawning within the next 20 seconds. You can already see that Evil Geniuses are starting to try and posture up for it. Contracts doesn't know he's on a ward though, so camping there a little bit too long. We now got 12 seconds on that team fight timer, but Bip is in the area. And Sword
out. Hanser has TP
over there. Both top laners have TP, and here comes the engagement. They're going straight after Contracts. Contracts uses his ultimate. It's all for show at this point. It's a kill going over to TSM at a very crucial time, too, because Drake just spawned. TP now coming out. It's going to be a TP in the mid lane. Sword showing up. They're going straight after Shoryu, but Bip is waiting on the exit, and it's another kill picked up by TSM.
What a play for TSM Academy. They find two incredibly crucial picks, and this is exactly the impact that I was hoping to see out of Bip around this time. He secures the dragon on top of it, and that's going to be a huge benefit for specifically the carries of TSM Academy, most notably Cody Sun picking up that bot side kill. And we've seen just how devastating Tristanas can be in this meta. You get so much range the further and further you are ahead in levels. A lot of that stems because Contracts just doesn't have a sweeper available. He has this Rift Herald. Can't get out.
No sweeper? Standing on the ward? Gave more than enough time to TSM, for TSM to be able to respond to this. And yeah, it is a breath of fresh air for TSM, picking up that kill, also doing this teleport play down bottom. And keep in mind, that gold is going over to Cody Sun. He's the one that gets kill credit for this.
Definitely does, and Sword, being the utility member of his team, yet again has participated in both of those kills, and will be going for the Shirelia's battle song yet again, helping out his team and speeding them up into the fight. We saw how effective it was when Babip was playing Hecarim. Olaf still likes movement speed quite a lot, not to mention the rest of these members of TSM Academy, so looking pretty strong.
So some map movement coming out from Sword right here. It did look like they were anticipating a dive in the bot lane, so Sword was trying to get in position early, but now it's going to be TSM finding the out-rotation faster. They're putting down Shelly, getting the Rift Herald out. See JoJo, he's trying to get closer to make sure he claims that gold. He will be able to get the plate gold. It's a lot of money. A good influx going over to JoJo. They don't get the mid lane tower yet, though, but you can see that it's not long for this world. There's only a slither of health left on it.
To knock that one down sooner than later here for Evil Geniuses Academy, and they are now really in a position where JoJo again has a pretty big CS lead. He can be that magic damage threat for the squad here, and he's going to be making his way toward that mythic item, likely going to be the Luden's Echo, and just a lot of ability power in this guy. We know that he typically likes to not play the control mages, but Orianna's just way too good. You can't go wrong with Orianna.
Nah, you can never go wrong. I personally love her champion design. She's one of my favorite champions from back in the day. You know, came out, did she come out season 1 or season 2? Coming out of this teleport is Tony Top, going for the dive over onto Cody Sun. Cyclone will not land. Cody Sun will be able to get away. Evil Geniuses Academy, they put in some resources, but they're not getting the kills quite yet.
Cody-san not quite sure which Wukong he needed to Buster Shot. Will flash instead just to be safe. But that is still a nice cooldown used by Evil Genius's Academy. They use their own teleport out of Tony for this, and they miss out on a lot of topside pressure, which is a pretty big departure from the playstyle that we saw in the previous game, where Contracts was really focused on getting Tony and JoJo ahead. This time, they're really pivoting down to Shoryu and trying to get this Kaisa moving outside of this lane, so they can use that strength of the dive composition that they've put together, which both teams really want to do, coincidentally.
And that's why I'm watching these next couple of moments. I'm watching TSM very, very closely. Because this Hero's Entrance, the Paranoia, you know, the Nocturnal, all of these are going to have major, major implications at this stage of the game. This is going to be one of their strongest points. Can they get it to the backline? Can they take out the members that they need to within this window before you start having that fall-off moment where you're just not getting the gold that is required from this composition? And it stays up. Are you serious?
How much health does that thing have? I want to know from our producers. We'll check in on that one in a moment, but that is pretty outrageous for Evil Geniuses. We'll see if they can still get the first turret of the game eventually, and they won't be completely robbed of that by the minions just not pulling their weight. But I want to look a little bit more at this next dragon fight that's happening in about 50 seconds, and whether or not TSM can get to Soul Point with it.
They're trying to set up around that area, but actually, never mind. They're setting up more for the Herald, which should be the better move. Dragon's not up yet. Why not grab the other neutral objective to make sure that Evil Genius's Academy can't get anything on the return? But they're going to leave their mid tower open, and EGA, they'll be able to finish off that job.
Yep. Does drop with just one auto attack from Shoryu, who might be under fire as the rest of TSM come barreling through the mid lane. They don't bring Hanser, though, so they won't fully dive in on this play. But meanwhile, Evil Genius actually get two turrets off that trade.
Another tower picked up. 7 seconds until the Drake spawns, and you can see that TSM want to push this as a win condition. They want this to be their window in. Of course, this isn't their only one. You don't have to sacrifice everything. You know, you get the Tristana Sailings. Cody-Sun can be a late game win condition. But TSM, they're not just happy having only one. They want to make sure they contest for the others. The fight breaks out. Here comes the Shockwave. Landing onto 3. Paranoia comes out onto the backline. Here comes Hanser, but he's in the middle of 5 members of the Evil Geniuses as they will look to hunt him down. Contracts cannot get closer. Finally able to get the stun, and JoJo will get the kill. 2 down for TSM. Nothing lost for Evil Geniuses, but what is gained is this Mountain Drake.
Evil Geniuses are just a little bit too quick with their trigger fingers on that fight. Tony Top lands that Cyclone right away into the Shockwave, and Hanser used the Paranoia just a little bit too late. He's stuck in that bottom lane waiting for his angle, but Evil Geniuses, they're tired of waiting. They make it for themselves. Look at what Mystiques is able to do with this Alistar for the 3rd game in a row. The team fight, the dive is so clean from Evil Geniuses. They get that dragon and they deny the Drake scaling.
Yeah, bad time to show up, Hanser. Bad time to show up. There's the stun. Come on and slam. Welcome to the jam. JoJo grabs that kill. It's looking pretty grim. When I see a Nocturne falling behind really early, I kind of just start, already relegating this team to the grave. Nocturne has a hard time coming back when he is set this far behind. He's 0-3-0 right now. His saving grace is he's CSing really well, though.
It's absolutely true. Hanser might just be 2 games in a row where he's really exposed up in that top side by Tony and Contracts, and this is the game where you really don't want that to happen. This is the game where it might just be your last chance in the Proving Grounds playoffs. They already made it this far, Deserex. They already made it to top 6. They already made it to the best of 5s. To lose it all in this last game, or what could potentially be the last game, be such a bad way to go out. But still trying to bounce back into this one. We're seeing the TSM are reaching their tendrils into this bottom side of the map. They're trying to breach these turrets. Both Hanser and the rest of the gang are trying to siege them down.
If you're TSM, you're pretty much just hoping that Cody Stun gets that late game fantasy. I don't see much other way. Like, their dive composition looks great in the draft, but now that we're at this stage of the game, there's not much it could really do against the comp of EG, who are just womboing all over the place. You just want Cody Sun to continue farming, which he does have a CS lead. You want him to get kills, which he does have a kill. He's still building up. He can be the late game that Cody Sun, that TSM need.
You perfectly said it before, where Haunter is super far behind. He is not as confident of going in. He can't safely just dive in with Paranoia. That goes for the entirety of TSM. If you are on a dive threat composition and you do fall behind, are you going to go in? Probably not. You will just instantly die. And it's even worse because Evil Geniuses have a dive composition too, and they are ahead. So they're going to dive onto you, and then what do you do, TSM? Well, we'll see what they actually respond to that question with as the game pushes forward. We're now 3 turrets to 3 turrets, mirrored on both sides. We're out of outer turrets in this game.
TSM have a pretty good inside track on that top tower, but it's Contracts going for the engage. Teleport going to go through. Able to join the fight will be Tony Top. TSM, positional advantage over the Baron area, but EG are going to start walking down this mid lane. Just hold control over there. Make sure that TSM are not going for the Baron, but map control nonetheless. EG are responding.
TSM actually made really good use of their just sort of empty threats that they could have brought through, but they had no intention of actually doing. They burned Tony Top's teleport because, well, TSM could press Paranoia, and then you win the fight. And if you're Tony Top, you're like, well, I have to teleport early, so that doesn't happen. And then Evil Geniuses, they think about pushing mid lane, but they say, oh, what if they do Baron? We can't actually push mid lane. We have to be there in case the Baron is started. But again, TSM had no intention of doing that. So by using these empty threats, they actually do find some advantages where they really had no business doing it just because of the mind games of League of Legends.
Yeah, I mean, what's the old quote? It's the best hook is the one you haven't thrown yet. That's kind of what we're seeing there. Still setting up, though, like going around TSM Academy are trying to go deeper into the jungle of Evil Geniuses Academy to get that vision in, to make sure they have those flank spots. And if TSM want to find a team fight win, they have to make sure that Evil Geniuses are, 1, not together, and 2, they are the ones finding the engagement. They need to deny teleports with the Paranoia, they need to deny vision with it, and they need to team fight with Cody Sun being able to get that DPS.
Monster's trying to find some pressure in that bot lane. He's pushed in yet another wave up there. It will be denied away from Evil Geniuses if they don't send someone to collect it. But they can't. They can't send Tony, doesn't have teleport. They can't send JoJo because there's a Nocturne ult. So, they're stuck here waiting for the Dragon to spawn. And for Evil Geniuses, they have the inside track on this. They will be able to start this one up, but the fight is what really matters. The fight is what they really need to start up. And Haunter is in range this time. Does he do it in time?
Mystique Quest on the sidelines. Here comes the Paranoia. It is going to be used, going straight after the squishy carries of Evil Geniuses. But now TSM are starting to retreat. Shoryu goes in with Killer Instinct, gets a lot of damage as the shockwave goes off. It's a kill to JoJo Pun, and the rest of TSM are forced to just walk away and watch the dragon be handed over to Evil Geniuses.
One death is all it takes there, Deserex. All it takes is just one member for TSM to go down, and they can't do anything else about it. They already used all of their offensive tools. Galio ult down, Olaf ult down, Nocturne ult down, even the flash of those later two also. They did everything they possibly could have to try to get into this fight, but it doesn't work. Watch what Mystiques is able to do in this one. The Headbutt Pulverize denies all of the follow-up engage from TSM Academy, and Yurson goes down without even finding a good option to use that Magnet Storm there. You see he tries to do it, but he's not tanky enough. TSM are not ahead enough. They do fall down yet again. They lose a second dragon in this game.
Shades of game number 3, Smacks, because every time I've seen Babip pop the Ragnarok, it's to run away. TSM have not been in the team fight where they're the ones pushing forward, and it's just because EG, their comp at the end of the day is pretty damn easy to execute, especially when you just have Mystic Quest who's there to get the headbutt pulverized at any angle you so wish. Shockwave following up, Cyclone following up, so many tools for EGA. Now TSM are trying to deal with them. They're trying to find their footing. They're not that far behind in gold, but they just can't play the team fight the way EGA are.
CTSM are still trying to do something. They have Nocturne ult.
Now here it goes, an engage coming out once again. Evil Geniuses pushing forward. Mystic Quest will be able to back out. Cyclone goes out. Yerson's the first one to go down as Babip tries to defend Cody's son. Tony Top will flash over the wall. Continue chase Shoryu over the wall as well to score himself a double kill. Now Babip left to the wolves all by his lonesome, throws out an axe. It's the last axe he'll ever throw. It's a kill for Contracts. Evil Geniuses Academy, they see Baron. They want to close this out 3-1.
Oh, that just might be the nail in the coffin here for TSM Academy's losers bracket run, Deserex. That fight was so devastating, and you could see that they were really trying to just find some way into this game. They have the dive threat. What do they want to do? They just want to dive, but that's what EG wants too, and they're just too far behind to make it stick. We're going to see it one more time. This is potentially the last team fight that is going to matter here for Evil Geniuses.
Look how little Cody-san was able to do in these fights, Max.
Yeah. Wukong's nuts.
Yeah.
This champion is so obnoxious to deal with if you're a marksman.
Yeah, he's just forced to continuously run away. He has to flash over the wall. He has to rocket jump away. He just had no time of day to be able to do actual DPS, you know?
Yeah. They're giving TSM Academy a taste of their own medicine because Ponser was the one who delivered the Wukong pills to FlyQuest Academy yesterday, but now it's Tony's turn. Give them this Wukong taste. It's nuts. He's so strong. And again, this is coming off the back of some incredible top jungle play from Contracts and Tony in the lane. You can see Haunter is 0-4-0 on this Nocturne. He's supposed to be the one who's engaging first, but he just gets blown up anytime he tries.
It's a rough gamble when you take that Nocturne, and it's a gamble that's not paying off for TSM Academy. Another turret goes down. EGA are taking out all the inner towers, and they want to start setting their sights onto those inhibitor towers as well. Now it's just getting control, vision, all over the jungle of TSM. And what do? You've been choked out so much. The gold lead right now is getting bigger and bigger. It's now 6K separating these teams 26 minutes into this. The Baron empowered push coming down both the mid lane and the bot lane.
Baron's going to be up here for another 70 seconds, but here comes the fight.
Yeah, Paranoia going to be used. Haunter can't get too much damage, but they will be able to get the kill nonetheless. Babip scores that one. TSM are going in. Shoryu completely uncontested. Here comes Yerson. He goes after the ADC, but Shoryu is able to flash away. Shoryu will stay alive, but for how much longer? The rest of Evil Geniuses Academy, however, they don't need their ADC to finish up this game. They will clean up TSM. Evil Geniuses. This is an org that has been focused on developing talent, not just with the Prodigies lineup, but also with their Academy lineup that's standing before you right now. They're a roster that is standing victorious over a veteran roster in TSM Academy. Evil Geniuses will eliminate TSM and make their way to the top 4 in Proving Grounds. And what a performance it was, Smacks.
Off the back of some incredible, immaculate solo lane play from the rookies of Tony Top and JoJo. And who better to activate those young players than the veteran Contracts? El Contracto in the jungle. It's popping off yet again on so many different champions in just the one series. He doesn't need Nidalee.
Yeah, and we showed that EGA don't need JoJo to be the carry of the team. He could sit back and take a more utility role and just leave it to Tony Top because, chef's kiss coming out of Tony Top. We got that counter pick. He sent Haunter to Flavor Town, and it was something vindictive.
Oh, it was immaculate. Those 3 games, 2 through 4 there for Evil Geniuses Academy. What can TSM Academy even do right there? There's so many points where Evil Geniuses just had their number. every single time around the top lane too, around the member for TSM Academy who is their biggest veteran voice, who's been with this org so many times. He's gone to Worlds with them, for goodness sake, and he is the one who Evil Geniuses decide, that's where we're going to attack. That's the weak point. That's where we're going to dunk on them. And Tony and Contracts deliver 2 games in a row.
Okay. So Smacks, we do have a post-game interview. I'm not entirely sure which desk this is going to, so we'll find out in a moment when we roll the dice. But we're gonna hear it from the man himself, Misty Quest. So, am I saying the name right? Please tell me I'm saying it right.
I'll be honest with you. You can pronounce it however you want. I don't mind. It has whatever is easier for you. It's okay. Misty Quest, Misty.
All right, we're both right.
All right. So, brilliant play coming through. I want to know a little bit about the draft, though, because Evil Geniuses, we typically see them going on to the red side. This time, you guys opted onto blue side in one of them, and really, the draft just seemed playing around TSM's power points and being able to draft a lot of those champions that they're the ones who love them.
To be honest, we played red side because we actually we are not able to choose previously which side we go on, because we were either lower seed or the enemy team just lost, so they were choosing the side again. We're actually comfortable playing both sides much. We have prepared for both sides good drafts, and we're good to play on both sides, to be honest. No preference.
Well, we can see, regardless of side, you're still going to smurf it on the Alistar. We got to see all 3 victories from you on that champion, and that champion had a 100% win rate in this series across the board. How are you feeling getting that champion in every single one of those victories?
Game one, we really blundered the draft. It was pretty unplayable, in my opinion. We did a lot of mistakes, gameplay wise too. We didn't have a good game. But going into game 2, Peter Dunn just said enemy support is free trick, Banrel, and pick Alistar, and it's gonna be a bigger success for us too.
So that's why we just pick Alistar. Okay. All right, you've been all over the EU scene. You're definitely a journeyman of the scene. And now you're playing alongside Shoryu, someone who had a lot of experience with Team Liquid Academy. I want to know how mending with him has been and how it has been laning with Shoryu.
Oh, it's fun. We are doing our 2 own parts for the team usually. We have our part to play in the game. I don't want to say exactly what is it, but we have a part to play in the team, and if we use it correctly, that transitions usually to victories for our team. So at the beginning it was pretty hard to get along together, because I don't really speak that much on lane, and I have played with more experience, more AD carry. Sure is experienced too, but there were some things that he had to catch up. But since he catch up and he understood my playstyle, we just have a role on the team. We do it good, then the team wins, and we're happy. Even we're not the carry point of the team too.
Yeah, we saw in this series especially that Tony Top was stepping into that carry position, and both he and JoJo are these really new rookies on your team. What's it like playing with these really young guys, and how have they really shaped your team's development as you've made the journey from last place in Academy regular season now all the way up to top 4 and still fighting in the Proving Grounds playoffs?
When I came here, I saw their play, and the play mechanically and individually wise, it's really good. All they had to do is some catch up in terms of game knowledge and how to play as a team too, and how to contribute the best. But the strong point also is that Contracts, I'm more veteran side of the bot side, and Contracts taking care of the top side. So since our boys from the solo lanes just started to know how to play League, it became just much more easier, and Juan also started to pop off more, because just the solo lanes are actually just smashing some people, so it's easier for Juan to get ahead and get the lead and get fed. So that's how we just transitioned them.
I got one more question for you. I know on the other side of the bracket, it's Evil Genius Prodigies versus 100 Thieves Academy. Which team do you got winning? Which team do you want to face more, I should say? Because, you do got the Orc Pride, but do you want the Civil War more, or do you want to take it to 100 Thieves Academy?
No, I want to play 100 Thieves. Like if there's I feel like if beating 100 Thieves would be proving much more to me and myself my team than EG Prodigies. But to be honest, like doesn't matter who we play. If I feel like if we play our own game and we don't like just, especially me, to be honest, I like to troll a bit. But if we just play our game, I think we can beat everyone in this tournament. It all depends though if we just don't run it down, I'll be honest.
All right. Thank you so much for setting aside some time to talk with us, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, guys.
Too.
All right. So yeah, pretty straightforward guy. No twists and turns about him. He's just he is what he is.
Doesn't even care what you call him. Yeah. Nice to talk to Mystiques after those Alistar games. As a support player myself, I've got to take some notes on that one so I can whip my Alistar play into shape, because man, those team fights were so clean from him. I'm really glad we got to talk to him, and I'm really excited to see who they actually do play up against. We get to find out tomorrow.
Yeah, so now it's going to do it here for the casting desk. I'm going to throw it over to the analyst desk so they can break down this series that we just went through.
Thank you, Desterux and Smacks, for the fantastic casting as always. Welcome back to the desk, everybody. Ravish is joined by Tim yet again, with the Magic Man himself. Which, Tim, let me get this out of the way. I know I didn't proclaim my prediction beforehand, but I think you can join me on this, saying that I had the 3-1 going into it. So I'm very, very happy to claim that tribe. I'll take my trophies and my cookies now and wait for them at my doorstep. Right? But with that, let's go in and talk about the final game of the night and wrap the series up as a whole here, Tim.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a different game. You know, the Wukong for Tony Top, in some ways a similar game, right? Contracts came in, gave Tony Top a ton of attention, helped, with that early dive, great setup by Tony Top, and then they dove that, turned into a lot of team fighting wins. There were some mistakes, some hiccups for EGA, not a totally clean game. But once they got ahead, and once JoJo started to get a little fed with his CS lead and all of that, TSM tried to pull off the 5-man dive comp, but they just couldn't get it to work out. I think EG were too beefy. I think they outplayed it too much. Mystiques had some really nice kind of countering cages or like peel setups where he'd just keep people from following up those dives. I think Cody-san, there were some moments where he might have been able to position a little better and maybe take some risks, throw caution to the wind, and try to make sure those dives would come off and succeed. But they just couldn't make it work. So congratulations to EGA, 3-1. They split the difference on the 2 different prediction opportunities you gave me, and they're moving forward.
Yes, sir. Now, with that, tomorrow we will have our next best of 5 between EGP and 100 Thieves, deciding ultimately who might be able to face there, move on into the lower bracket finals and make it into the top 4, I believe here, Tim. So will we get the in-house for Evil Geniuses, or will we get 2 more academy teams duking it out yet again to prove who's best? I guess that's why they call it proving grounds. Yeah. Tim, that makes it's all kind of starting to make sense to me as you go along through the entire day. But I gotta say, man, this was such a fantastic series to watch. EGA, I was saying this from the beginning that ever since Team Liquid had kind of dropped out, I did view this team as a 2nd seed, and with them finally ending TSMA's Cinderella losers bracket run and moving this anime on to season number 2, we'll see if their plot armor is just as thick here, Tim. But with all that being said, any closing thoughts from you?
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations to EGA for putting together a strong series, finding out what wasn't working for them in game 1, running off 3 strong games, punishing TSM for the mistakes they were making. And can't wait to see what happens tomorrow with that 100 Thieves Academy versus Evil Geniuses Prodigy series. I think a lot of exciting players, both players on the cusp of LCS, honestly, and on the EGP level, players on the cusp of breaking into Academy for next year. And I think those are a lot of names we're going to be hearing a lot more of in the years to come. So can't wait to watch that one. Tonight was fun, and we'll see what rolls out in the final stages of this tournament.
Yes, sir. Congrats to Evil Geniuses Academy and GG's to TSM. A hard-fought battle for them to make it all the way this far. And I cannot wait for tomorrow to see who possibly comes out on top. Although there was no Pantheon or Yorick, like it's fine. I'll deal with it. I'm sad internally, but externally, I'm smiling for y'all. But with all that, I want to thank production for today, the casters, and everybody and all of you watching. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next best of 5 that we have. But I have been the host for the evening, Ravishing Ravish, the most ravishing man on the internet. Joined here by Tim Magic himself, Fighter Warwick Elixir. We'll catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Verizon believes everyone deserves the best. That's why we start with 5G from America's most reliable network.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Then give families plans to mix and match so you only pay for what you need starting at $35.
You get so much more than this, a great network.
And offer the best in entertainment on select unlimited plans like Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, as well as Discovery Plus, with a Galaxy S21 Plus 5G when you buy one. There's no reason to settle for less than the best. Only from Verizon.